distribution, and beyond that. So Alhamdulillah, as Prof. Irfan said in our previous classes, with our own new technology now, mobility, and huge resources, huge income. So we need to have a proper procedure or proper coordination so that the Ummah can benefit of resources that we have. So Prof. Irfan will be, as we have informed everyone before, he will be taking care of 5 classes, and starting next week, Prof. Raditya will continue with another 3 classes. So we will benefit from both of them, inshallah. So without further ado, we invite our dear Prof. Irfan to continue with the class for tonight.
Thank you very much, Brother Shahran. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil karim wa ba'd. Bishrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilman nafi'an warzuqna fahman wasi'an. In this 5th lecture, I would like to share with you about one of the important topics at the moment in the global zakat movement, that is the alignment of zakat with the SDGs, with sustainable development goals. And this is a very important topic because SDGs have become a global commitment, and SDGs have become a global agreement, and all countries agreed to achieve the 17 goals of sustainable development by the year 2030. And in order to reach this objective, to reach these SDGs, of course, we need to optimize and utilize all domestic potentials, including Islamic social finance. And zakat and awqaf are part of the Islamic social finance, and they have a very, important role that can help us in achieving these SDGs. That's why tonight I would like to share with you about this matter. And of course, when we talk about zakat and SDGs, the thing that we need to understand is about the concept of SDGs itself from the Islamic perspective, because as we know that zakat is an Islamic instrument. Zakat has its own rules and regulations that cannot be violated. It has to be in line with the Sharia. And when we talk about the SDGs, then when we try to incorporate zakat in SDGs, so we have to make sure that there is no violation of Sharia. Therefore, it is very important for us to understand the conceptual framework of zakat on SDGs. So it is very important, to understand the conceptual framework of zakat on SDGs, and we have to make sure that the SDGs concept is not against or violating the Sharia principles. And in addition to this conceptual framework of zakat on SDGs, I would like also to discuss with you the special case study in which, in our Indonesia experience, the National Board of Zakat has an index which is called Basnas Index for Sustainable Clean Water and Sanitation, or it is abbreviated as BWAS, as a measurement to measure the program of WASH, water and sanitation hygiene, and we know that this is one of the SDGs. So I just want to share with you about it because in order to achieve this one objective, we have set up a special measurement standard. And that's why I would like also to share with you about the concept of this BIOS index. Okay, so let me begin with the first part, which is the conceptual framework of zakat on SDGs. As we all know that, as I have mentioned earlier, that the world has agreed to achieve these 17 goals of sustainable development. And of course, zakat can be used to finance these SDGs because, of course, the fund needed to finance the SDGs program, is very, high. And in case of in many countries' cases, we see that most of the countries are lack of financial resources to finance these SDGs. But of course, since this has become our agreement, we need to think hard how to finance these SDGs so that the 17 goals can be achieved successfully. And in this regard, zakat has been introduced as an innovative financing. What does innovative financing means? It means that the source of fund to finance SDGs can be not only from government sources, government budget, but also from other sources of fund, including Islamic Social Fund. So Islamic Social Fund can also be utilized, and therefore combination of Islamic Social Fund, government budget, and other sources of fund in the definition of UNDP is called as innovative financing. So that is the meaning of innovative financing. How the world innovatively finance the SDGs. So zakat has been made as part of the innovative financing instrument. And of course, what we need to do is to make sure that the SDGs are in line with the Sharia. And we know that the Sharia has objectives. And the objective of Sharia is known as Maqasid Sharia. Maqasid Sharia, or the objective of the Sharia. Although the term Maqasid Sharia was firstly introduced in the 4th century of Hijrah. In the first 3 centuries of Hijrah, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd century of Hijrah, of Hijriah, the Maqasid Sharia concept was not known. And in the 4th century of Hijrah, it was discussed by various ulama, and the famous concept was the one that was introduced by Imam Ash-Shatibi and also Imam Al-Ghazali, the Hifz al-Khamsah, the protection of the 5. So we have to make sure that there is strong relationship between the SDGs and Maqasid al-Sharia. And here, the SDGs concept should follow the Maqasid al-Sharia concept. So what we do by analyzing the SDGs from Maqasid al-Sharia perspective is that we do not make the Maqasid al-Sharia to be in line with the SDGs. No. We have to make sure that sustainable development goals are in line with the Maqasid al-Sharia. So this will create the foundational alignment between the two concepts. And we have to be very careful in analyzing the concept. Like, for example, when we talk about gender equality, of course, the concept of gender equality, we do not follow the feminism concept, of course, because it has the feminism has its own interpretation on gender equality. So the gender equality should be seen from the Sharia. So, but when it talks about domestic violence, of course, we agree on that one, that domestic violence should not take place, yeah, in any family. Yeah. So this is a very important issue, and we need to deeply analyze the relationship between each goal of the SDGs with the Maqasidus Sharia. We have to make sure that the SDGs we are talking about are in line with the Maqasidus Sharia. If there is a concept, doubtful concept from the SDGs, so we need to modify and make adjustment. Yeah. So we need to modify and make adjustment just to make sure that it is in line with the Maqasidus Sharia. Okay. So this is number one, yeah, which is very important to make foundational alignment between the two concepts. And then secondly, uh, the one of the most important thing also that the presence of zakat should have significant impact on the poverty alleviation. And when we talk about poverty alleviation, yeah, there are three aspects that we need to observe, yeah, that needs to be observed: the economic aspect, the social aspect, and the advocation or da'wah aspect. Yeah, in terms of economic aspect, we want to have an economic growth, but it is not only growth, but growth through equity. So the presence of zakat must ensure that growth through equity takes place. Yeah, and in our practical experience, when we talk about zakat-based economic program, of course we need to use zakat, yeah, for assisting mustahik, yeah, by helping them in three aspects. Yeah, in terms of capital, production, and market. In terms of capital, meaning that zakat can be used, yeah, as a source of fund, yeah, uh, that can be injected to the business owned by the mustahik. Yeah, I have to underline this, that the business that can be injected from zakat fund is the one that is owned by mustahik. Yeah. Also, we can use zakat as a stimulus, yeah, to increase the production of goods and services of the mustahik. Yeah. So in this regard, zakat can be used to strengthen production capacity of mustahik business. And the third one, when we talk about the economic program of zakat, yeah, we have to also make sure that market expansion, yeah, should be taken into consideration and should be, carefully observed, because the presence of market for products, for goods and services owned by the mustahik is very, very important. Yeah, we cannot have, sustainable and successful economic program, economic empowerment program for the mustahik if no market is available for them, if there is no demand for their products. Because when we talk about market, it means we have demand, yeah, for mustahik product. So this is a very important aspect. Furthermore, we also, when we talk about poverty alleviation, we also talk about the social aspect, in which we want to give access to the mustahik, yeah, education access, health access, and also emergency and disaster response. Access to emergency and disaster response. Yeah, it is also very important because, you know, uh, in many Muslim countries, yeah, globally, some countries are very vulnerable to disaster. Like in Indonesia, we are very vulnerable to disaster, to because we are under the ring of fire, yeah, mountainous area, and we are, vulnerable to various natural disasters like earthquake, tsunami, yeah, etc. Yeah, so of course, disaster always create new poverty. Yeah, the one that was living above the poverty line, above the poverty line, may fall below the poverty line due to uh, natural disaster. That's why the presence of zakat should also ensure that the affected ones can still have social access. Yeah, they can still have access to the source of assistance that really needed by them. And the third one, when we talk about poverty alleviation, yeah, we have to also have a concern, deep concern on the advocation or da'wah side. Yeah, because uh, we have to, empower the poor, yeah, the mustahiq. And when we talk about the capacity building program, the network, etc., all of them are related with this aspect. And it's not only, we do not only stop until this. We also have to make sure that uh, there is no regulation that creates injustice, yeah, that produce unjust condition to the poor and the needy. And therefore, advocation is needed, yeah, and zakat can be used, yeah, to provide access to the poor, to make sure that they have, they can fulfill or they can receive their rights. Yeah, they can receive their rights. So advocation is really needed. So this is about the poverty alleviation. So combination of these aspects, these concepts, sustainable development, yeah, with maqasid sharia, with poverty alleviation, they have to be blended, yeah, and come with the product, which is the product is in the form of the program, yeah, program to achieve the SDGs, to alleviate poverty, and at the same time, it is in line with the Sharia. And zakat can be used in this regard. And then another important thing when we observe the relationship between SDGs and Maqasid Sharia, yeah, we have to also make sure that all Maqasid Sharia aspects are really, embedded in the SDGs. Yeah, in the SDGs. So we have to make sure that. And I would like to cite a study conducted by the Basnas Center of Strategic Studies, yeah, Puskas Basnas. They have conducted research that has been published 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, 3 years ago, 2017, regarding the relationship between SDGs and the Maqasid Sharia. Yeah, so here we make correlation between the SDGs, the dominant Maqasid, and the level of needs. Yeah, why we use the term dominant Maqasids? Because all SDGs aspect must have the 5 elements of Maqasid Sharia. Protection of the 5 must be there, yeah, in all SDGs. However, some of the Maqasid aspect or Maqasid element may be dominant over the others. Yeah, but we have to make sure that all the Maqasid Sharia are embedded in this SDGs. Yeah, and they have highlighted the relationship between the SDGs and the dominant Maqasid and the level of needs. Yeah, yeah. For example, when we talk about zero hunger, the 5 Maqasid Sharia must be there. Yeah, you have to be able to relate zero hunger with the 5. But out of these 5, there may be 1, 2, or 3 maqasids which are dominant. Yeah, I'm not saying I disagree with the concept when you separate. Yeah, let's say here, for example, if we talk no poverty, yeah, only from the Hifz al-Mal, and you make separation between the five maqasid, yeah, five protection of the five. So it means that if you make it separately, yeah, it means that there is no protection of religion in the no poverty goal. Yeah, and I disagree with this. Why? Because there is protection of religion in the no poverty goal. Why? Because poverty makes a person closer to kufr. Yeah, so that's why poverty may lead somebody, yeah, into kufr. Yeah, like in some countries, yeah, there are cases in which many are converted to other religion, yeah, become murtad, yeah, because of economic factor, because of the poverty. Yeah, that's why, yeah, no poverty goal should have element of protection of religion. Similarly, it must also have the element of protection of lineage, protection of intellectual, etc. So we can explain in that regard. But of course, the dominant one is protection of wealth, and the level of needs is doruriya. So you can have this, analysis. I just quote from the study conducted by the Basna Center of Strategic Studies. So here we can conclude that the SDGs and Maqasidus Sharia are strongly related. Yeah, and in the study made by Basna Center of Strategic Studies, yeah, they have also put priorities, yeah, to these SDGs programs. Yeah, and zakat can be used based on this priority, and this priority is made by Basnas in the case of Indonesia. Yeah, so in the case of Indonesia, we have this priority, yeah, and we prioritize the first priority, followed by the second, the third, and the fourth. Yeah. So of course, why we make this priority? Because of the limited zakat fund. Yeah, because our zakat fund is still limited, and the problem we face is very, very difficult. I mean, we have, a big problem. Yeah, so we have to allocate zakat effectively. Yeah, and we try to reach the very, basic objective, the very basic goals that have to be prioritized by zakat. So we have made four priorities of zakat based on the goals of the sustainable development. Yeah, no poverty, zero hunger are among the first priority. You can see here from the color of the figure. And then, of course, there are five pillars of zakat program. Yeah, there are five pillars of zakat program. Yeah, they are economic program, social humanity, education, health, and da'wah. Yeah, so we have to make sure that the presence of zakat, yeah, and also the SDGs, yeah, you can give or you can use zakat, yeah, you can use zakat for these pillars of the program, yeah, in order to achieve the SDGs. Yeah. So all the 17 SDGs, yeah, must be achieved, yeah, from this implementation of this program. Yeah. So here we come with the 5 pillars of program. Yeah. So economic program, for example, we have to make sure that the economic program should achieve as many SDGs as possible. Yeah. And in the economic program, in the case of Basnas, for example, we have zakat-based community development programs, or we name it as ZCD or zakat-based community development. So when we talk about community development, of course, we want to achieve as many goals as possible. Yeah. Since zakat-based community development is very important, so we have covered most of the SDGs from this zakat-based community development. Yeah. Similarly, we also have the economic empowerment of mustahik, yeah, businessmen, and also we have empowerment of the animal breeder program and other programs, yeah, economic program, the productive ones, which try to cover as many goals as possible. Yeah, at least one goal, at least one goal. But in our practical experience, alignment of our programs with all the SDGs have been done, and the program that we conduct normally at least align with 2 or 3 goals of the SDGs, because in each goal it has its own criteria, it has its own indicators, and it has also to be reported. It has to be reported to the National Secretariat of the SDGs. In the context of Indonesia, for example, this National Secretariat is in the Ministry of National Development Planning. So we have to make regular report to them, yeah, so that the Zakat program can be included in the SDGs program. Yeah, so this is a very important thing. Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, that I will come to the second part, which is a special case study in which we have created a measurement standard for one of the SDGs, which is clean water and sanitation. Yeah, clean water and sanitation is one of the SDGs. If I'm not mistaken, it is SDGs number 6. Yeah, so in the SDGs number 6, we still do not have a standard of measurement. Yeah, that's why in our case we created, yeah, this index in order to measure our program in order to achieve this SDGs number 6. And based on this index, we can conclude whether the program has met the criteria of SDGs number 6 or not. That's why in this tonight lecture, I will share with you about the existence of Basnas Index for Sustainability of Clean Water and Sanitation. So we have 4 dimensions in this index, or BWAS index. Yeah, the first dimension is on water facility. Yeah. The second one is on MCK facilities. This is, public toilet. Yeah, public toilet facilities. We also have sanitation dimension, and the fourth one is the behavior. Yeah, behavior dimension. So each dimension it has its own variables. Yeah. We have 3 variables in the water facility, yeah, which are water access, availability of water source. I do apologize for the grammatical error here. Yeah, availability of water source and consumable water. Yeah, these 3 variables represent the water facility dimension. And we also have around 5 variables when it comes to the public toilet facilities, yeah, which comprise availability of bathroom and toilet facilities at home. This is the first variable, and then also we have the second variable, which is ratio of bathrooms, yeah, etc. You can read this one, and also availability of septic tank at home, and availability of hand washing facilities at home, and availability of hand washing soap, yeah. And we also give weight, yeah, and we have created this index in the form of a multi-stage weighted index. Yeah, so you can see this one because this meets the need of our measurement standard to make sure that the program of zakat distribution related with SDGs number 6 can be successfully achieved. And also, when we talk about the sanitation, we have these 4 variables, which are source of drinking water, yeah, distance of septic tanks, and source of the water. It's not air, but water. And then also septic tank cleaning and availability of dump. Yeah, and then for the behavior, we have 3 variables. So we have these 4 dimensions and around 15 variables. And you can also see the weight here, yeah, so that each variable has a different weight, and also every dimension has its own weight. But when we combine all, the total number is equal to 100. Yeah. So how do we measure the water access? Here we apply the Likert scale measurement from 1 to 5. When we talk about water access, the ideal condition is represented by Likert score of 5. You can see here that this score is achieved when more than 80% of the house, yeah, have access to water. It's very important, yeah, because when the percentage of the people accessing water is more than 80%, so it means that we are in a good condition, yeah. And when we talk about the zakat program related with this SDGs, yeah, regarding the water access, what we do before the program start, we have to analyze in terms of water access how many house in the program location that has access to water. Yeah, let's say it's there are 25% of the house. After we conduct, the survey in one program location, we found, for example, 25% of the houses there have the access. It means that in terms of Likert scale measurement, the Likert score is equal to 2. Yeah. And then the presence of zakat program should be able to increase this Likert score if we want to call it as a successful program. So we have to make sure that the Likert score can be increased from 2, let's say, to 4. Yeah. So if the Likert score can be increased from 2 to 4, so it means that in terms of the value of the index can also be increased. Yeah. Value of the index can be increased. We have designed the index value between 0 and 1. Yeah. So if the Likert scale is equal to 2, it means that the value of the index is 0.25. If the Likert score is 4, so it means that the index value is 0.75. Yeah. So this is how to, how to measure the index and how to interpret the index. So you can see here all variables have their own standard, and we have to analyze the program from this standard. Okay. For example, suitable water for consumption. So the value of the index will be equal to 1 if more than 80% of the resident houses use suitable water for cooking and for toilets. So you can see here, the dimension, the variable, and the indicators. So the presence of this index is very important to help us, in understanding the condition, and also in getting the data. And based on this information and data, we can effectively launch the program. Because we know the data, we know the actual condition. We know which house that has no drinking water source. Based on this information, then we can calculate how much money is needed, how much zakat fund needed, to launch the program. If we do not have sufficient fund to cover all of the areas, we can also identify which area that is, in the worst condition. That will be prioritized. So priority comes with the worst housing condition. So this is, the reason why we need to have this kind of index. So it really help us, to understand the situation and to effectively, introduce a policy and program that is that fits the real condition of the targeted area. Let me give another example here on the behavior dimension. In the behavior dimension, for example, the 13th variable, which is household trash management. Household trash management. So the value of index will be equal to 1 when households use garbage transport services, sort organic and non-organic waste, and manage waste. They can sort organic, they differentiate between the organic and non-organic waste, and they have put these two into their own, garbage. So if this is the case, then the household trash management can be called as a good household trash management, because they have fulfilled the best criteria, which is mentioned here in the Likert score number 5, Likert score of 5. And it is based, of course, every variable. I forget to tell you that every variable has its own reference. So each variable has its own reference. We use, for example, the household trash management. We use the Ministry of Health Decree number 3, year 2014, as our reference. That in this minister decree, it is stated about this household trash management. So we take it as our main reference, and that's why you can say that inshallah all of these variables are very valid, and the way we measure based on the Likert scale is also valid, because it has its own references, the most updated references. And we in Basnas, in our experience, we always evaluate all the index that we have every 3 years. So every 3 years, we make evaluation to make sure that the index is still valid in capturing the actual condition, so that we can use this result of index as the input for zakat policy. Yeah, so this is about the BOS indicator, and I think, yeah, as conclusion that SDGs, achievement of SDGs is, a very important issue, and Islamic social finance must have its own role, yeah, and zakat should also have its role, yeah, in order to achieve these 17 goals of sustainable development. By that, I end my presentation, and the floor is yours, Brother Dahlan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Prof, I'm a bit lost about the last part about the index and the Likert scale. Can you simplify it again? Maybe I'm the one who lost. Maybe other people are okay. How you relate that to zakat?
Yeah. So as conclusion, let me repeat, yeah, that this is an example how we use zakat to achieve the SDGs.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And in every SDGs program, zakat-based SDGs program, we have our own measurement standard. Yeah, we have our own measurement standard, and the available index can cover the achievement of each goal. However, there are some goals that require, uh, more effort from us to have our own standard of measurement, and one of them is SDGs number 6, which is related with the clean water and sanitation hygiene. Yeah, so we develop the index that reflect the achievement of this, and we name it as Basnas Index for Sustainability of Clean Water and Sanitation. So we name it as BWAS. And what are the dimension and variables measured in this index? That's the one that I explained.
Okay.
So we have 4 dimension, 15 variables, yeah. And our program design is based on this, yeah, because each variable has its own reference, yeah, and the reference comes from the decision, yeah, or the law, yeah, that prevails in our country. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is that when we distribute zakat, we have to make sure that zakat is distributed effectively, efficiently, and the target is precise, the impact is high, yeah, okay, and the change is significant. So how to achieve that one? We need the measurement standard.
Right.
Okay, that's why we come with.
Okay. Have you? Go to the field conducting it, or still theoretical?
Yes. No, it's not theoretical. It's already conducted. Our various program. Yeah, in our various programs. Yeah, because in Basnas we do not stop until theoretical aspect. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So we have to make sure it can be implemented. Yeah, it can be implemented. It gives us result, and based on this result, then we can launch other policy, or we can introduce new approach, for example. Yeah, because this approach is failed to meet the required standards, so we need to change the approach, etc. How do we know that one? Based on this result, based on the index value as the result of our program.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Prof. We take question from Dr. Bibi, Kak Bibi.
Okay.
Prof, how do you measure the behaviors that you have identified with communities' understanding on the link between such behaviors with Islamic teaching and values, not simply the logical expected response based on human ethical behavior?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, when we talk about the household stress management, for example, because I have given the example on this variable. Of course, we need to educate because our target is poor. Yeah, poor people. Of course, sometimes they don't have, a sufficient education to understand the importance of garbage management, trash management, the importance of to differentiate between organic and non-organic waste. And in this education, of course, the very basic foundation of education is Al-Quran and Sunnah. It's the very basic teaching of Islam. Yeah, we never, do or make campaign or conduct some education programs without connecting them with the basic teaching of Islam, which is Al-Quran and Sunnah. So we have to make sure, that they understand the Islamic teaching, the message of Islam, and the behavior, of course, should reflect Islamic values. And Islam teaches us to have a clean environment, to take care of our environment. So we teach them that values. So they understand that this is part of the religious value, and it will also affect the spiritual condition of the poor. As I mentioned in the fourth lecture, when we talk about the measurement standard, we introduce the use of welfare index, which combine both material and spiritual aspects. So we still use this index to measure the outcome of the program. So if there is no change in the spiritual condition, let's say they are in a very bad spiritual condition, they live salah intentionally, they don't care about the waste management, they don't care about the trash management. So it means that they are in the absolute poverty condition. Materially poor, spiritually poor. So we don't want it to happen. That's why in our program, we have to make sure that their spirituality should be, observed, and we have to create a program that ensure their spiritual condition can be increased. Otherwise, your program is not successful.
Okay, Prof. I'll take next one from Brother Nuruddin. Can you explain the emergence of fiqh of zakat for SDGs in Indonesia? Does the emergency of this fiqh also involve basnas? Is this fiqh of zakat based on the Maqashidi paradigm, for example?
We have produced 2 studies on zakat on SDGs. The first one is fiqh zakah on SDGs. Although it is still in Indonesian language, for that one. But for BWOS, it's available in English. So fiqh zakat, on SDGs has been launched 3 years ago as a study, joint study by Basnas and also Islamic State, one of the Islamic State of Jakarta, UIN, Islamic State University of Syarif Hidayatullah. With Syarif Hidayatullah, we collaborated in producing this fiqh zakah on SDGs. And in this book, it's very urgent. And why I said it's very urgent, because all of the development programs, are connected with the SDGs. Yeah, because now every country must its own report on the achievement of SDGs. Yeah, that's why alignment of all programs with SDGs is very important, including for zakat institution, so that we can claim that when you talk about better condition in your country and you can achieve the SDGs successfully, you can claim that the role of zakat cannot be ignored because we already participate in that program. And because also the SDGs itself, like no poverty, zero hunger, etc., are in line with the Sharia. Although no poverty in reality is not possible. Yeah, yeah. To me, no poverty is just the spirit. Yeah, actually, we want to reduce the number of poverty, and we also want to increase the quality of poverty itself. Yeah, for example, what do I mean by increasing the quality of poverty? For example, let's say 1 year ago you define poverty, poverty level as the level in which a person earn less than $1 per day, because you have created or you have adopted the poverty line $1 per day. But now you define a poor as those who can only earn below, let's say, $10. Yeah, previously $1. Now the standard has been increased to $10. It means that the quality of poverty is increased. Yeah. So this is what I mean by increasing the quality of poverty. So that's why the role of zakat in handling this condition is very important. And by aligning zakat with SDGs, we can claim that the role of zakat cannot be ignored because it has significant contribution to the achievement of SDGs. Hopefully it answers you.
Prof, let me ask you this hypothetical question. How do you see your work or yourself 15, 20 years from now?
Me?
Yes, or your works on zakat. I mean, what do you expect 15 to 20 years from now? I mean, the result or the scenario. Yeah.
I'm expecting that the actual collection of zakat can reach its potential and the number of poverty can be significantly reduced. And with the presence of various index can, enrich our zakat literature. Yeah, because it's very important to enrich the literature. Yeah, because, and I hope that the next generation can learn also the effort that we did in the past. Yeah, that we did in the past, so they can learn and they can find out that the presence of measurement standard, the tools that can be used to analyze poverty, etc., is very, very important, and it will affect the life of the people.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Prof. I think if we have more young scholars, PhDs, thesis on this area, it will be very great.
Yeah, it's very important also to have our own, our own standard rather than we follow the West. We need to have our own standard. We have to dig from the Quran, from the Hadith. Why I share with you various index, although it is in general, because if we want to go into details, of course, the time is not permitting us to complete that one. But at least to show you, that zakat is not that simple. It's not just you collect money and you distribute money without any other effort. It's not the task of the amil to do that. You have to, when I translate the term amanah and professional, how we reflect amanah and professional. One of the reflection of the term of amanah in our activities as amil, is by having measurement standard that fit the need of the society in line with the Sharia. And when we implement this, it will give significant change and significant impact to the life of the people.
Yes,
Yeah,
very true, Prof. I remember I once had Prof. Norma to reevaluate all this. The machine that the Asnaf received, the
yeah,
lawnmower, the sewing machine. After a year, those machines are no longer there or being is gone. Some are survived, but the majority is can't be traced anymore. Yeah. Kak Bibi has another question. Maybe you want to go live or?
Yes, I'd like to
Oh, okay,
share.
sure. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Prof, I must say that your sharing is very, very enriching and very, very refreshing. I really I wish this idea of yours is actually could be made available to everybody, especially the Muslim community worldwide, globally. And I have question one, because I always do a lot of community service in Indonesia from Aceh all the way to Tual, the nearest to Papua. But I just want to know the role of non-government organizations or VWOs or religious institutions in collecting and disbursing zakat, because I work closely with them, number one. So to what extent the centralization of zakat collection help to operationalize this framework, the wonderful framework that you have? How do you cascade this your framework to the lower level? That's one. Number two, is it possible to transfer this idea to the other Muslim community in other part of the world? That's all. Thank you, sir.
Okay, for the last question, of course, it's possible. Yeah, this is one way to transfer our experience to other parts of the world, and hopefully, all of you can be our ambassador to spread this, this message, and also the index, the dynamics that we experience in our country. And number one, for the non-governmental organization or NGO, actually in Indonesia, there are two types of zakat institutions. Yeah, number one is government institution, which is called Basnas or the National Board of Zakat. We have Basnas at central level, yeah, central government, at provincial government, and also at city government levels. And number two, we have private zakat institution, which we call as LAZ or LAZ, Lembaga Amil Zakat. Yeah. So, because why we acknowledge the presence of private zakat institution, because they have already in existence before we have our own Zakat Act.
Right.
The first Zakat Act in Indonesia was passed by our House of Representatives or Parliament in 1999. Yeah, so that was the first Zakat Act, which was then replaced by Zakat Act number 23 in the year 2011. Before 1999, we did not have Zakat law, although some, local regulation, local government regulation, yes, we have some of them, but we don't have the law, the act. That's why their presence is acknowledged, and we adopt the decentralization of zakat collection and zakat distribution, but we coordinate all of them, all of the institutions under our coordination to ensure that zakat can be allocated in a very effective way.
Thank you, Sukmana, Prof. We give you more time for the final remark, Prof.
Okay.
Then we'll close.
So,
yeah, inshallah.
Yeah, hopefully this session benefits you, and inshallah, we hope that we continue our effort to increase the quality of zakat management. Yeah, there are many things that still need to be done. We still have a lot of homework, related with this Islamic social finance development, and I ask you to join hand in hand, to participate in this global effort in increasing the quality of zakat management as well as the quality of wakaf management. Because this will be my final lecture, because next week will be continued by my brother, Professor Raditya Sukmana. I also do apologize if there are mistakes, and because man cannot be free from mistake. Yeah, so inshallah, we will meet again in
Inshallah.
other events. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Prof. We will surely see you again, if not in these classes or in other occasion, inshallah. And next week we will see our brother, Professor Raditya, inshallah. Thank you so much, everyone. See everyone next week.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.